I'm excited to come on and talk about the Libra full moon that's happening on April 1st and in other parts, April 2nd, this pink moon. And how perfect, because pink reminds me of the energy of love. And this full moon is really going to be highlighting your relationship space. And I think this full moon is such a call, if you think about from a future self perspective, of who you want to be when you're at your highest when it comes to love and relationship. And it all begins with your relationship with yourself. If you're new to me, my name is Donnell Davis. I come on here and do videos that have to do with astrology, but more so about healing and future self embodiment. I really believe that we have to heal forward to become our future self now, not waiting till some, unspecified time in the future, waiting, but really deciding in the now moment to become the version of you that has the things that you want. So, anyways, this full moon really is about harmony and or lack thereof, right? It's going to show you these things. So harmony, diplomacy, how you're getting along in your relationships. So hopefully there's something worth celebrating in your relationships. And if there's areas that need support, then that's perfectly okay because this full moon will illuminate those areas. It's interesting because the other side of the axis of Libra, while we're in Aries territory, right, is Aries. And so Aries is where our sun is right now, and Libra, the moon. And these are very kind of, they're opposite. Aries is the energy of self, of courage, identity, truth, leadership. And Libra just really wants that connection. It's ruled by Venus. It's loving and it just feels like such a beautiful energy to work with. But the way these two play together is, can you be fully you and still be in relationship? So it's not about losing yourself. It's not about trying to overpower the other person so you can get your way, but it's really about clean self-led love. And I love that thought. I happen to have Libra in my seventh house. And so it's very much about this energy of how I'm partnering with people. And I know for me, and if you've seen some of my other videos, I have already been initiated into this because I did a whole nother video and some post about how I was noticing the stories that were running my life and relationship, starting with myself, and then how that cascaded into my marriage. And so it was eye-opening. And I think we all at any given time are given a chance to either work from our heart or our wounds. And the wounds, you'll know if you're operating from there because they feel like fear, lack, scarcity, they're attached to the past. But when you're operating from your heart, you're operating from a place of potential, possibility, love, that higher consciousness. And it's really easy to get caught up in stories. I've had a story in the past about many, many different things, as I'm sure you have. And if you are catching yourself at this full moon in a story, I do want to let you know that I'm doing an incredible 5-week deep dive. It's 4 sessions and then sandwiched in between, or it's 5 total, but sandwiched in between that is a one-on-one with me. And it's all about becoming the leading lady of your life, rewriting your story. And that's what I've been doing recently. I noticed the places that I was playing small within myself, and I knew, okay, if I keep operating from this story, I am not going to get to where I want to go because our stories turn into identities. And so the leading lady is the identity. It's the main character energy. It's not about settling. It's not about waiting for permission. It's really about knowing who you are and how you want to operate in your life. And the first week is really going to be identifying what story is there that's limiting you and that you need to let go of. And I'll help you see it if it's unconscious. Then it's going to be really, second week, releasing any trauma, reprogramming that story. Then you're gonna have a one-on-one session with me, and then we're gonna get into like the following week about like the futuring of it and like how to call in and really work this through a creative process that I've never used before that I'm super excited because this isn't about just healing. I want it to be about healing, but I also want it to be creative and fun. I want you to think about like the joy of like when you're at like the beach in the summer and you're reading like a bestseller and you can't put it down because the story's so good. Now, I don't want your story to be chaotic and crazy, but I want it to be juicy and potent where you're engrossed in what's going to happen. Like you're on the edge of your seat because you're living your best life. And if you've gotten so far away from that, this program is going to help you rewrite that story. And so the last week is really going to be the embodiment of it. Like, how do we take this story, this big vision, and bring it into the everyday life? So just comment rewrite, and I'll send you all the juicy details. But back to this energy for Libra. So just so you know, like some of the shadowy sides of Libra can be people pleasing, over accommodating, keeping the peace at all cost, maybe subtle resentment. Now there's the Aries shadow too, which is reactivity, impulsivity, defensiveness, and I don't need anyone energy, like lone wolf, like I've got this. So this is about no matter what is happening in your reality, that you know how to work with your body and your nervous system. So, could you speak up without blowing things up? Could you stay open instead of shutting down? Not abandon yourself because you know that you have to speak some truth that can be uncomfortable. So, the most powerful version of you doesn't have to choose between independence and love. She fully can embody both, and that's what I want you to think about. And one of the big elements that is so important when it comes to relationships is your capacity to receive. If your nervous system isn't safe to receive love, then you may have patterns that push away things, push away or destroy your relationships or sabotage your relationships when things get really challenging. And the truth is, most people weren't taught how to have really healthy relationships that have repair and all the things that are needed to strengthen over time. So let this full moon highlight where you're tracking in your relationship to yourself and where you're tracking in your relationship to your, romantic partner, business partners, all that kind of stuff, associates, because it's not just the romantic connection, it's also your friendships and all that kind of stuff too. And I think there's never been a deeper call for authenticity. I mean, we're at this place in our lives where I feel like we're being reconstructed. And what I mean by that is the faulty foundation of who we are has been coming down, and we're rebuilding, and we get to rebuild from a place of strength. And it's incredible, but it's not easy. And so I would love to see all of us build our lives based on a healthy nervous system. That's a lot of the work that I do with people, is making sure that they have the capacity to receive more light, more blessings. And if you can't, those relationship spaces, trust me, will show you the mirror, right? They'll be like, you're not able to receive this. If you shut down on people and don't tell people how you really feel, but then you're harboring resentment, like you haven't learned the skills yet to be in really high functioning relationships. If you're unable to find the words to express how you're feeling in a relationship, knowing how valuable that can be, and you just decide to withdraw or stonewall, once again, these are things in relationships that are that can lead to its demise. But that means, and I'm not judging anybody, but that means if you're operating from like those couple of examples I gave, you haven't been taught healthy ways to be. And you're going to probably have to develop your capacity within yourself first to hold the searing hot truth, to hold the discomfort of when you get in a fight with somebody and you have to say something. I know for me personally, I had a former anxious attachment style. So when I get triggered and things are difficult, I want to talk and I want to move through the energy, but my partner is not. He needs time and space. So although most of the time I'm in secure attachment, I find myself every now and then getting anxious, and where I keep coming back to over and over again is, how do I feel safe, even if I can't have the conversation right now? How do I feel safe within myself? How do I regulate my own nervous system? This is the work that we have to do to be healthy within relationships, is to have a healthy relationship with self first. So I want to point out a couple. Let me just see if there's any. I know there's a couple different areas with this moon that can be activated as well. So let me just double check um, what those are. Let's see. I think I got it all. We did have Venus just move into Taurus, which has been today, I believe, which is really nice. But I want to pull some cards. I don't want to get into like full on aspects of this. I'm not going to do that today because I think more importantly is just what I've already said about relationships. And of course, look at the house that you have this in, because that will dictate a little bit of how the deeper themes. And so earlier today, when I was on one of my group calls, she had the Libra energy in the 10th house. And so, or yeah, so her work is going to be very relational. What she's doing, she's going to build a lot of collaborations that's going to help her. Or somebody else had it in the 11th house, so that's community and friendships. So you just have to look at what house it is in and know it's still about relationships and partnerships, but also with that other lens. Okay. So you can pull up your chart and see and get that info. And then let me just pull a few cards and then we will wrap this up because I'm going to be back again tomorrow to do all this. Hmm. Okay. Wow. So these are very spot on cards. We got the Passion Ignited card. I'll tell you the cards and I'll tell you the meanings. We got the Moving On card, and then we got the New Beginnings card. So it's perfect to me that we have to move on before we can start the new beginning. So use this full moon to identify where you're at in your relationship to yourself. What self-limiting beliefs are you noticing that have come up? Where have you been in your relationships? Like really kind of do a deep dive, because this is 6 months of material that is being shown to you. But obviously, more so as it's leading up to the full moon and a few days before and a few days after. So this passion ignited card, well, where else could we find more passion than relationships? Oh my goodness. I mean, it's so funny because my daughter has a crush, not a crush, but like they like each other. She likes a boy and he likes her. And so it's got me thinking about when I was 13 and that feeling of that crush or that love energy, like when you're really excited about somebody. And it is, I was telling her, I'm like, it can be like a drug. It is so powerful. Love is so powerful. Or even just like attraction, right? Chemistry. It's so stinking powerful. So much so that we can ignore red flags and all that kind of stuff. But what if your passion, this card, this new beginning, is the passion that you feel towards life and your relationship with yourself? And you're like, oh, that's boring, Dawn. I want it to be about somebody else. Well, maybe it is. Maybe it is for you. But it all starts within yourself. The more whole and the more love you can feel towards yourself, then that's going to emanate out towards your other relationships and you'll attract that in, or you'll have more of that in your relationship. But this is definitely a call, like what's exciting you, what's the next level of who you want to be in relationship to yourself and life and others. And the moving on card is really this like leaving behind some heaviness, leaving behind maybe some of the shadow work that you've been having to do in relationships. leaving behind some limiting beliefs that are no longer serving you where you're going. Maybe you recognize, oh gosh, when I do this in my relationships, it's not healthy. It doesn't serve the relationship. I got to learn how to communicate better or stay more present. So, whatever has been coming up for you, what do you need to do to honor it? Do you need to let it go? Do you need to come up with a new belief, a new story? That's the energy. And six is all about harmony. It wants to take you into harmony. So you're moving on to find the harmony. And then last but not least, you have new beginnings. And so this is saying, like, even though this is a full moon and it's, typically full moons are endings, there is some new beginning aspect of it because we're coming off, onto the heels of the Aries new moon, which is going to be, I believe, April 17th, where whether we like it or not, there's going to be so many new beginnings. But I really believe that Libra and Aries are working together to usher us into this new cycle of energy and to be self-led so that we can be our best and highest in relationships. And we need this on the planet. Look at the relationships and how crazy and terrible it can be sometimes. Yeah, that's a whole nother story. But anyways, I will see you guys soon. I hope that you have an incredible Libra full moon. And I just want to leave you with what are you calling in? Like, this is not a new moon for setting intentions. This is a full moon, right? So it's going to be revealing. But what's your intention? Is it to leave something behind? Like, find a way to do that. If there is something that you're like, that, I don't want to bring that forward in my relationships, or I don't want to bring that forward in my relationship to myself. Find a piece of paper tomorrow and do a little writing and then burn it. I think that'll be really, really powerful. Anyways, I'll see you guys soon. Take care. And subscribe and share if you like this video.